So now we've looked at the history of it a little bit. Let's have a think about what we're going to do. Oh, what the fucking hell? I've done it again. We're going to leave this in. We're going to leave this in. I don't care.
Blooper
It's
reel.
terrible. Yeah.
It's fine.
Steff and I have just been chatting off air about how the fact we're never going to do anything live because we just fuck it up. But
the pressure, matter. Can you imagine?
Oh, we just have to. Someone say something now.
It's so much
vaguely coherent.
We can edit this later, right? No, you're live. Fuck.
No, the entire.
And you can't swear either.
Yes. This has been live streamed on YouTube, and everyone has just seen and heard what you've said. This is now winging its way around the world. We've lost control.
Please put some clothes on.
Absolutely. Oh God. Oh goodness. Goodness me. Anyway, what we're talking about: music, Star Wars, music in Star Wars, soundtracks, and the like. So it seems like a logical place to start would be the original trilogy, and realistically start with John Williams because, quite frankly, there's not really a lot else to consider. So anything you've got from that perspective, Stefan? Any highlights? Anything that you perhaps, again, beyond the movies, just consider to be good music?
Well, you know, I kind of fell in love with the music outside of the movies. It was actually a really specific moment I can tell you about. It was my first year of university, way back in 2001. And being at uni, obviously tried to do as little work as possible. So I had to fill the time with other things. Played lots of video games. But there was a laser quest near to our halls of residence. And a few of us used to go over there. And they used to play this god-awful dance music. You'd have loved it. Like fucking 200 beats per second, mad gabba stuff. Like, this isn't pleasurable.
No, that's not my thing. That's not. No, hang on. Just let me defend myself.
Here we go. All right.
I am not like. I don't know what even. I don't even know what the name is. Like happy hardcore type stuff. Like,
yeah, you know the names.
I like house music. House music is my thing. Okay. Classic house. Not just like.
No. Okay.
That was.
I don't know what it was, but it was that kind of.
You may continue your story.
Thank you. We've established that. So anyway, we complained about this terrible music and that we didn't want to shoot each other to this awful music. And they said, well, you're welcome to. Well, they said, we got these other CDs, but they were all terrible CDs. And they said, well, you can bring your own CDs. And we were like, oh shit! Oh well, that opens up a whole new, experience. And my friend Nick and I, we thought, oh my God, how amazing would it be to do Laser Quest to Star Wars music? But neither of us had any Star Wars on CD. But as it turned out, my copy of X-Wing versus TIE Fighter on PC, if you put it in a CD player, track 2 onwards was proper Star Wars music.
Wow.
I found this out quite by accident. Track 1 was the data track. So you had to skip that one. So next time we went to Laser Quest, we took the disc with us and said to them, skip track 1. Do not play track 1. They're like, yeah, fine, whatever. But, these guys were like 12 running this place. So, of course, we get going. And, of course, they start playing track 1, which sounded a little bit like remember the old dial-up modem noise? Yeah. Imagine that and a fax machine had a horrible static child together. It was that and even worse. But anyway, when they finally got it right, oh my God, the experience of playing Laser Quest to the title theme of Star Wars was like nothing I've ever experienced before. And I know if Nick's listening, he'll appreciate that. And it was like a little switch on my head was like, wow, this music's not just for watching when you're playing the movies or watching the movies or playing the games. You can actually enjoy music outside of that. And it was much later after that, I actually bought the CDs and enjoyed them as music. I'm not that much of a classical music lover at all, really. But, just could enjoy the albums as proper music. So very much just the original trilogy. So that's kind of my fond memories of getting turned on to the Star Wars music outside of the films. Do you have a similar experience? You can
being turned on to the music and like experiencing like nothing you've ever experienced before.
Yeah, I was getting to shoot my friends.
Just imagine you running around a Laser Quest or laser tag, or whatever you call it in your part of the world, sweating to the sound of Star Wars and getting all excited by it.
Oh, lasers.
Were there any particular tracks, or was it just all of it?
Well, the title theme tune is obviously the most upbeat, best thing to kill people to. But when you kind of get the Empire theme and all the battle music, it all just fit. And I think
by that time you wouldn't have had. I was just thinking when you're saying about slaughtering your friends, my mind immediately went to
Younglings.
Music the music as they're entering the Jedi temple. But you wouldn't have had it at that point because I think that was 2005, wasn't it? So
yeah, 2003 was. Oh no, of course, Revenge.
99, 2002, and 2005.
Of course.
Yes.
I'm
just getting there before Phil does.
Well, yeah, and all the guys at work. Yes. No, wouldn't have had that experience. But I pretended it was on the Tantive 4, and we were, like rebel soldiers. Vader was on there, stormtroopers getting in there, pew pew pew. A bunch of local kids came in. They didn't really get it. They didn't know what we were doing, but it doesn't matter. Nick and I enjoyed ourselves. It's the main thing.
Doesn't matter who we are. Yes. That does. To be honest, I mean, even now, I'd think that's pretty cool. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get it. I
didn't have any experiences like that. I'll be honest. I did not have any experiences like that. I think I've spoken in the past about my grandparents and had them having the London Symphony Orchestra. I think it was Empire Strikes Back in their car and being like, "Wow, this is pretty fucking awesome." Because I think at that point as well, I'd probably only been like 6 or 7 and never even considered like that there is any separation between music and film and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and then not really taking into account. I don't know. I kind of watch. It's interesting watching those films and having, particularly, have you seen Empire of Dreams, the documentary?
Yeah.
Coming back to what I was saying earlier about people having viewed the movie without a score over the top of it, and being slightly more indifferent to it, and then watching it now and trying to imagine things without that score, and just like I can't see anything. I'm trying to go through it and think like, is there anything that would still kind of work without the score?
Yeah,
and there's nothing there that's anywhere near as powerful.
It's a bit like listening to Vader with Dave Prowse's voice before they dubbed it with James L. Jones.
Yeah.
So that kind of impact.
Part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away. Tear this ship apart. Tear this ship apart till you found those plans.
Etc.
Exactly. And that guy's crazy. I have watched that. That's in Empire Dreams, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You've seen it, Chewie. Peter Mayhew's doing Chewie. Isn't that hilarious?
That old man is crazy.
He's crazy.
Oh,
you said it, Chewie.
When he shouts at him from the top of the Falcon when they're
when
they're on Hoth.
Funny.
Like, where are you going? Bloody idiot.
I watched that on loop about 5 times, just pissing myself laughing.
Can you remember what he actually says?
It's something like that. He's like, okay, I told him. What the bloody hell are you doing? Or something like that.
Fucking moron.
I'm trying to fix this stupid bloody ship. Or something like that. It is hilarious. Everyone should watch that.
Absolutely. It's a long old documentary though, isn't it? It's like 2.5 hours or something.
Yeah, it's longer than the films.
Yeah, there's that one. There's that one and something I can't remember what it's called. About industrial light and magic.
I think it's just called Light and Magic, isn't it?
That's a good title for that. We'll go with that.
That's the new one. It's a really good
Industrial Light and Magic documentary about them. We shall call it Light and Magic. Yes. Well, they didn't waste much time on that, did they?
Should we call it Industrial Light and Magic? No, that's too long. It won't fit on the card. Oh, right. Okay. What about Light and Magic? Yeah, perfect. We'll do it.
Got to think about the posters, guys.
Yeah.
Got to think about the posters.
Got to fit on thumbnails.
No, but it's very, very good documentary. And I can't remember how we got on to Empire of Dreams. But it was about talking about that and the fact, was it music related? Were we talking about music? The fact that there was no music over it originally, and going back and looking at stuff, and just like this, even down to the characters. So I've got some stuff about sort of like character themes, and like the introduction of characters, and the music is. I've got a few examples, but the music is just so appropriate for characters and just gives you it. It almost, the music tells you more about them than anything you actually see from them on the screen almost. And they're not necessarily just. I'm not just talking about, say, Luke, for example, because Luke. I think Luke has got a theme, but it kind of goes through various iterations throughout the thing. But like Leia's theme is beautiful, right? And it's like it's very subtle, it's very calming, and it kind of, I don't know, when I listen to it, it's sort of, it's that implied reassuring presence that kind of just grounds me in a like, I'm with Leia, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay.
That's kind of the genius of Williams' work, isn't it? I mean, actually, just taking a step back, I never really thought about characters having their own theme music within a film. It wasn't a concept I was really familiar with, and I guess it's a kind of a hark back to the operatic works. You know, that I think Williams is sort of trying to evoke there, where, you know, characters when they came on stage would have their theme playing. I guess it's that kind of a thing. But yeah, Leia's theme its melody is on a French horn. I've got this written down.
You've done some research this week.
I have done. I watched. I will. I think we should reference. Well, we should definitely reference some of my sources that I've been watching. We'll put them in the description of the episode so that people can check out links themselves. Good. So there's some great videos you can watch where they will go into insane depth on these.
Is this YouTube?
Music. Yes.
Yeah, there's a guy I've seen who's, I can't remember his name, I'm afraid, and I apologise to you, sir. And if I look it up, or if Steff already knows it, we'll say it. We'll mention it at some point. It's a guy who he basically takes different themes from Star Wars and plays them on different instruments, or subtly changes them. Because obviously, I mean, there's. Have you ever played that game where you try and sing? I think you try and sing the Star Wars theme, then the Superman theme, then Indiana Jones, and got to do them like, and it's really hard because they're all, despite the fact when you listen to them side by side, and they're quite clearly different. When you walk away, you're like, oh no, I can't remember which one's which.
Yeah, because it's that signature of his, I guess, is
exactly. But I'm not saying they're not great; they are fantastic, obviously.
Insane classics.
Exactly. But Yoda's theme as well. I've wanted to highlight Yoda's theme because Yoda's theme is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Because it is two words I wrote down when I was listening to that, and it's uplifting and inspiring. And I was like, yes, it tells me all I need to know about this man. Or
well, apparently it was meant to be a playful sounding, almost a childlike quality to his theme. It's sort of meant to, I suppose that ties in with the film's idea that we're not supposed to quite know who this character is at first, and we don't know he's the great Jedi Master in it. You know, if the theme was all battle hardened Jedi nutter theme, then might spoil the surprise a bit. But I mean, there's so many great things like that in the themes. This guy, I mean, I just want to say to Barnaby Martin, who's the guy who I watch some of his stuff, you need to make it easier to find your name, because I've had to really drill down into these videos to find out who you are so I can reference you. But check out his video, The Genius of John Williams, on YouTube. He just picks a theme from the prequels, the originals, and the sequels, and just the analysis. He's a very clever guy, clearly knows his shit. I was trying to write down a few notes, but I got lost straight away on diminutive eighths and tonics and instruments I've never even heard of before. But yeah, so I think it's probably fair to say you're not going to get that level of analysis with Hutch and I. This is very much a layman's approach to the music, but coming from a place of love and appreciation, but not technical understanding.
Maybe we'll reach out to Barnaby and we'll get him on. Actually, let's redo this episode in a few months, and we can get someone in who actually knows what they're talking about.
Yes, maybe.
But I mean, we should probably do that every week, to be honest. But we don't.
We want to get someone who knows what they're talking about.
Someone who knows what they're talking about, guys. We've started a podcast and we've realised we don't actually know anything. Can someone please help? So
I feel like I was that guy for about 2 episodes, and then I ran out of things to say. And now
once we got past the original trilogy, we're like, oh fuck,
out of my comfort zone now.
Absolutely. Anyway, actually, I was about to say, talking of getting past the original trilogy, but there's one more thing I'd like to say. So one thing we haven't mentioned yet is the Imperial March, which is for me just one of the greatest pieces of movie music ever. I think for me, when I think of music from Star Wars, I think of the Imperial March before I think of the main theme. Yeah.
I guess I
cold-hearted
dark, evil man.
Yes, very dark side.
Maybe,
but it's I don't know. It's I just for some reason on my head, that's where my head goes when I think of music of Star Wars. I think it's just an incredibly brilliant piece of music.
Powerful, isn't it?
I've had it as my ringtone for one person. I'm not going to get
for one person.
You can guess who I've had it for. Yeah, I'll be honest. I robbed the idea from a film. There's a film. Have you seen Ted with Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
And he has the Imperial March for his girlfriend.
Yeah.
That is genius.
That's a great idea.
That is absolute genius.
She'll never know.
Well,
she won't ever be in the room when she rings you.
Yeah, well, she won't. No, that's the whole point. The whole thing from that. Spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen Ted and you're planning to watch it, but it's not exactly spoiling the plot. He drops his phone in the car or something, so she has to ring him to help find it.
Okay,
and it starts ringing, and she's like, "What's that music? What's that music?" He's like, "Oh, nothing." She's like, "Well, it sounds ominous." Like, yes, good spot. It is ominous.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh no, it's from the Notebook or something like that, or some rom-com." Like, right. So anyway, after I saw that, I was like, "That is a great idea. I'm having that." So, which was lovely. So, yeah, Imperial March, and also while we're on dark side music as well, the Emperor's theme is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
I was about to do it, and then I broke into. I was about to start it, and then I broke into Padme and Anakin. So stop. Just stop.
Then there's, the Emperor's theme's a good one actually, because this is also indicative of what Williams does, where he plays around with themes and uses them in different scenarios.
What have you read? What have you learned on the internet?
I think I actually did mention this in a previous episode, but where at the end of the Phantom Menace, when they're doing the victory march and they play the Emperor's theme in a major key, so it sounds all light and fluffy and nice. So you think, oh, that sounds familiar, but you almost don't quite know why. I mean, it's amazing how different it is depending on the key that the music's in. But that's just one example of Williams does that loads of places, plays around with the themes, does them in different instruments or in different arrangements to suit the situation, and it's so stitched into the fabric of the movie. It's amazing.
Yes. It is amazing indeed. Amazing.
And there's lots of little clues as well in some bits, or the arrangement, or not even. Well, I guess the arrangement. It's tied to the action in so many ways you don't even realize until you hear someone cleverer than us talking about it. You're like, holy shit! When we move on, if we move on to prequel music. And I can give an example of that.
Well, I was about to. Ooh, is it an example I might have as well? Let's take a break, and we shall find out when we come back.